Nobody wins when the family feels, but my
Three gunmen stumbled out of a silver Ford Taurus and opened fire on the 500 block of Gridley Avenue.
Why nigga don't be up KDY? You niggas hot as shit. On my brother, you niggas hot as shit. You niggas is hot as shit. Every time a nigga come up here, you niggas calling the police on a nigga. You niggas hot as shit.
All this, I'm trying to change the community. The youth.
33, drop squad, Zon G. Yeah. Rest in peace, bleed. Rest in peace, dead.
Today at 4 with arrests in a shooting that shocked the district over Labor Day weekend.
6 people were shot and 3 killed in a drive-by on Longfellow Street Northwest.
No place for those that commit violence in our communities. I also said MPD would get accountability for those that commit violent actions. On that night, I said what I meant, and I meant what I said.
This month officially closes the chapter in one of DC's most active and dangerous street wars. A deadly feud between 2 neighborhoods and 2 notorious crews. A beef so intense, it spilled from the streets into rap beats, creating diss tracks and viral moments, but leaving a trail of bodies and indictments behind. The sad part about this fam is that nearly everyone tied to this conflict is either dead or facing decade-long prison sentences. And not even a week ago from me doing this video, the remaining perpetrators finally heard their fate after taking their chances at trial. Now I know we're gonna miss a lot, but according to public records, this beef had caused one of the most violent Labor Day weekends in DC history. Retaliation broad daylight, a shooting that was captured on camera that left 6 people shot and 3 people dead in the span of 30 seconds. Let's just say that was a brutal response in a long-running neighborhood war, indiscriminately firing at anything moving. The suspect ignited chaos that would set off a chain of reaction of investigations, surveillance footage, GPS tracking, and social media slip-ups. Now for the outsiders looking in, it was a dark and dangerous time to be in DC. But let's be real, for some it was marked a wild era in DC that some would say had its best underground drill music in years. Sadly, like so many talented local artists, the jail cell caught them before a record label could. In this video we break down the neighborhoods, the alliance, the betrayal, the diss songs, and the final murders that ultimately led to the fall of 2 of DC's most talked about crews. We'll also speak on those involved and their sentence. And if you're not new to this channel, you already know we stick strictly to public documented facts. But before we go over this one, I want you guys to remember, I won't give you no angle. I just give you the story. So with that being said, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. We're gonna jump right to it. As mentioned today, we visited 2 neighborhoods in Washington, D.C. The first neighborhood is KDY, located in Northwest D.C. That neighborhood also go by the Navy SEAL 6. Now KDY got a couple rappers. One is a well-known rapper in the D.C. area that go by the name of Migo Lee. He's currently incarcerated on charges we'll later discuss.
YouTube, today I'm here with
Migo Lee, nigga, anti-cop.
10-6 on the scene. We put his ass on Fox, but I know get my young fully, he know what to do. Got hit with it.
This is the famous building right here from all our video shoots, man. Hold on.
Now KDY is known in the city to have beef with the neighborhood called RIGGS Park in Northeast DC, and they go by the name Drop Squad. They got a couple inspiring rappers out their neighborhood as well. One of them is a local rapper called Slidey P.
33, drop squad, Zon G. Yeah. Rest in peace, bleed. Rest in peace, dead. They watching more than the task force. Stay on point, I'm bird no. I'm watching the murder, gripping my Glock, and these are Murrays. Feet reach, he get burned.
But during the Labor Day weekend in 2021 would shake up the DC community after a shooting that took place that left 6 people shot and 3 people dead in the span of 30 seconds. The incident took place on Saturday, September 4th, 2021 at around 7:33 p.m. An officer with the Metropolitan Police Department, 4th District, was in the area of 7th Street Northwest and Kennedy Street Northwest, which is also the area of KDY. They heard gunshots. The officers immediately canvassed the area and located 6 victims in the 600 block along Longfellow Street in Northwest. Members of the DC and Fire Medical Service responded to the scene and transported the victims to the local hospital. While en route to the hospital, 3 of the victims died from their injuries. The bodies of the 3 descendants were identified, with one being a young mom, 31 years old, who went by the name of Donetta Dyson. May she rest in peace and love her condolences to her family. She was also rumored to be the aunt of Migo Lee, the rapper we briefly just talked about, from that area. Another victim was identified as Keenan Braxton, aka Dushy. Migo Lee ended up writing a song dedicated to him. They was real close. This song got under a little 400,000 views and counting.
Brother, I miss you. Think about Dushy, I get in my feelings. I think about Dushy and niggas start tripping. Think about Dushy, my brother, I spent.
The third victim was identified as Johnny Joyner, 37 years old. Once again, may they all 3 rest in peace and love and condolences to their families.
With breaking news.
Well, the flashing lights, the police tape, homicide detectives, all of it an all too familiar scene. Gun violence in the district has claimed 3 more lives tonight. Thanks for joining us on this Saturday. I'm Corey Smith. Let's take you right to the scene of tonight's mass shooting. It happened on Longfellow Street in Northwest. That's where News 4's Darcy Spencer is live for us. Darcy, police once again investigating a homicide and once again asking the public for help.
That's right, Corey. We are here on Longfellow Street where the chief of police held a press conference a short time ago confirming that 3 people were shot and killed here tonight. Right around 7:30 this evening, 3 people were shot and wounded, and they're recovering at area hospitals. I want to show you the scene here. If you look down the sidewalk, that's where you see the bulk of the police activity right at 7th and Longfellow. You can see there are shell casings there on the sidewalk, and police are looking around and putting down evidence markers. Let's go ahead and show you a photo that police put out a short time ago. It is a vehicle of interest that they're looking for. It's a dark colored Honda Accord, they say, was involved in the shooting, and it was captured on a nearby camera. Now, police say the suspects got out of the car and fired into a group of people who were gathered on Longfellow Street. They confirm more than 1 person fired shots, and a gun was recovered here on scene tonight. Now, we could see that police used their flashlights looking for evidence in the dark tonight. Police say they don't know the motive for this shooting and that the 3 people who were wounded are expected to survive. The 3 victims who died are described as young adults. We don't know their exact ages. Police are still making those family notifications. Now, let's hear some from what Chief Conti had to say earlier tonight.
It's very frustrating, and we've been talking about gun violence for a long time. We know that this issue is not unique to Washington, D.C., but I think it speaks to the overall sickness that we're seeing in our community, and that sickness being gun violence.
Good night. Nice meeting you.
The chief says that they're also offering a $75,000 reward for information and help solving this.
As you can imagine, this shook up the DC community, especially the neighborhood of KDY. Nonetheless, authorities will start their investigation, and according to the perpetrators' recent indictments, they had cameras to go by, witnesses, and even somebody from their own hood turned in the surveillance footage that you guys just saw to police before they even knew about it, all to try to get a deal on another case. First thing first, police would try to locate the car that was shown to you on the news clip, the Honda Accord. Apparently it was a rental. While trying to look for surveillance, they came across the surveillance of the shooting. I mean, it's 2025 and everybody got a Ring doorbell, to say the least. After the shooting, the suspects ran back towards the suspect vehicle, which was still waiting in the 5600 block of 7th Street. Apparently 3 suspects got out, and 1 perpetrator was allegedly in the vehicle waiting for the suspects to return. Far as suspect 1, he was wearing a face covering, a black jacket hood up with the white logo on the left chest, the black pants with tears on both knees, and white dots on the left thigh. Not to mention he had black and white sneakers. They also spotted suspect 1 with what it appears to be a Draco. We'll later identify suspect 1, but far as suspect 2, he was wearing a black hoodie, light colored pants with a large rectangular tag hanging from the rear right pocket, and black and white sneakers. And for those who don't know, a lot of people who wear purple jeans for some reason leave their tag on there that say purple, which is crazy to know that the suspect 2 decided to do that while on a drill. And like suspect 1, we'll later identify suspect 2. And suspect 3, he was wearing a dark face cover, black hoodie, and a dark colored pants and black shoes. Now, a witness who was identified as Witness 1 was interviewed on the scene. And Witness 1 stated that after it heard the gunshots, it observed the suspect vehicle, which was described as being a newer and clean 4-door black Honda Accord. Witness 1 also stated that the suspect vehicle had Virginia license plate, and at that point, authorities had a statement on a description of the vehicle. And that's how the local news had a description of the suspect vehicle. In the days following the shooting, the MPD received several phone calls pertaining to black Honda Accord lookout. There was no information or evidence that directly linked any of these vehicles to being the suspect vehicle, which was discovered the next day engulfed in flames. Also, during the investigation into the shooting, law enforcement learned that the victims were with others in the 600 block of Longfellow Street Northwest at the time of the shooting. At this time, it's unknown if the group of people were gathered because it was Descendant 3's birthday, Johnny Joyner, later confirming that Johnny lost his life on his birthday. May he rest in peace once again. Individuals affiliated with the KDY crew spent time in and around the area where the shooting occurred. In fact, the MPD intelligence branch had recently validated Descendant 2 and 3 and 2 of the surviving victims as being affiliated with KDY. Apparently, law enforcement also monitored the social media accounts of individuals associated with the rival crew that are quote-unquote beefing with KDY. In doing so, law enforcement had observed that various crew members of RIGGS Park, CRT, Critton Street, and also Uno Mafia / Market Boys, which is from the area of Missouri Market, appeared to associate with each other. Detectives also learned that around 1 hour before the homicide, that there was a shooting at RIGGS Park, KDY enemy territory, in which one person was shot in the arm. And based on video surveillance footage, it was determined that the suspects arrived in a dark color SUV and fired as they drove by, where the RIGGS Park crew was hanging at on the 800 block of Oglethorpe Street Northeast. Video footage from the area captured numerous individuals socializing in front of 823 Oglethorpe Street Northeast before the shooting. The video did not continuously record. Officer 1, who was assigned to the MPD intelligence branch and monitor subjects associated various crews in the 4th District, recognized one of the individuals to be Kamar Queen, also known to affiliate himself as Drop Squad, a part of the RIGGS Park crew, also an aspiring rapper, Slady P.
It's wars now, yeah, we spent they band twice. Go check the score now, yeah.
Slady P, aka Queen, has a close relationship with family who resides at the location based on the video. Queen was last seen in front of 823 Oglethorpe Street Northeast, less than 10 minutes before the Oglethorpe shooting. At the time, Queen was wearing a gray sweatshirt, a white undershirt, light colored pants with a large rectangular tag hanging from the rear right pocket. Remember we just talked about it? Purple label? Officer 1 said he acknowledged Queen from monitoring social medias related to crews operating in the 4th District. They also identified Queen's Instagram account, Slady P1. And looking at his account, 3 weeks after the shooting, it seemed he act like he was in California. Posted some bags and some cash and wrote MVP of the North, RMG, Drop Squad. Looking back, I'm assuming he thought that'd throw off the police. Police also note that the pants worn by Queen appear to be the same style pants worn by Suspect 2 at the shooting of KDY just an hour later. On September 6, 2021, at around 12:42 a.m., firefighters responded to the rear of 4540 Edge Street Northeast for a vehicle fire. When firefighters arrived, they found the vehicle engulfed in flames. Officers noted that the burned vehicle was a Honda sedan with Virginia license plate. The vehicle was completely destroyed by the fire and nothing more than the frame of the vehicle was left. There was a suspected bullet hole in the trunk. Additionally, a partially burned gasoline can was found nearby in the trash can. The next day, on September 7, 2021, detectives went to the rental car company in Falls Church, Virginia, to investigate the rental of the suspect vehicle. When they entered the office, Subject 1 was there. Subject 1 asked detectives if they was there because of the stolen vehicle. Subject 1 said it was there to get the license plate number to the vehicle in order to report it stolen. Subject 1 described the vehicle as being a black Honda Accord, which it said was stolen in Washington, D.C. Subject 1 was interviewed by detectives in more details outside the business. Subject 1 told detectives it rented the black Honda Accord because its vehicle was having problems and had to go for repairs. Subject 1 said the particular rental company had the lowest rental prices. He also mentioned that it needed a reliable vehicle to travel back and forth to other places, including Philadelphia, PA. Detectives asked Subject 1 about the circumstances surrounding the theft of the vehicle. According to Subject 1, it parked the vehicle around 7:30 on Silgo Mill Road in Northeast on Thursday, September 2, 2021. Subject 1 said it returned to Silgo Mill Road Northeast on Sunday, September 4th, 2021 at around 11 a.m. and noticed the vehicle was not there. When I asked why did he park the vehicle there, he said because that's the area that his mother lived at. He also mentioned that he called 911 on September 4th at 11 a.m. to report it stolen. Now during the course of this investigation, detectives also interviewed Witness 3, which was an employee at the rental car company. Witness 3 mentioned that the car didn't have tinted windows before it was rented. He also said that Subject 1 had came to the rental car company on September 7th saying that the rental car had been stolen. Subject 1 had told Witness 3 that it needed a tag number of the rental vehicle in order to file a police report. He said Subject 1 had the only 2 keys to the rental vehicle, and based on records provided by Witness 3, Subject 1 had begun a rental agreement with the company on August 18, 2021. The contract was set to end on September 8, 2021. They said Subject 1 had used 4 different vehicles, with the 4th being the suspect vehicle. According to Witness 3, Subject 1 had gotten the suspect vehicle on August 26, 2021. Witness 3 did not know why Subject 1 had switched vehicles several times. But this what the perpetrators didn't know, is that the suspect vehicle was outfitted by the rental car company with GPS tracking device. Data from the GPS tracking device provided the vehicle's whereabouts every 25 hours. The car rental company had provided that to the police. On September 2nd, 2021 at 10:15, the suspect vehicle was in the area of 138 Waltman Place Northeast. On September 3rd, 2021 at 11:15 p.m., the suspect vehicle was in the area of 5815 13th Street Northwest. On September 5th, 2021 at 12:16 a.m., the suspect vehicle was in the area of 413 Galloway Street Northeast. But then detectives had interviewed Witness 4, a service director at a local Honda dealership. Witness 4 said that Honda began putting chips in their car keys around 2001. As a result, for the newer model Honda vehicles, if the engine is punched, the vehicle will stall without the key. Witness 4 said the only way it knew of to steal the newer model Honda vehicles was by tow truck or with a computer that reprograms and chip keys. On Sunday, September 5th, at around 2:59 p.m., Subject 1 called 911 and said it had been calling for a couple of days to report his vehicle being stolen. On September 7th, Tuesday, at 12:42 p.m., Subject 1 told the call taker it had been trying to report his vehicle stolen since Saturday. Now, detectives obtained a search warrant for information and call details records for Target 1 number. Subject 1 was the subscriber for a telephone number. The account was active July 28, 2021, and like he said, it was terminated, according to authorities, September 10, 2021. In reviewing the call detail records, the following observations were made during the time between the shooting and when Subject 1 first tried to report the black Honda Accord stolen. At 7:56 p.m., Subject 1 received an incoming communication from Target number 2. It appears that this call was routed to voicemail. At 8:09 p.m. and 8:15 p.m., Subject 1 had 3 incoming communications from Target number 2. These calls do not have appeared to be connected. At 8:19 p.m., Subject 1 had an outgoing communication to Target 2, lasting 37 seconds. At 8:19, Subject 1 received an incoming communication from Target number 2, lasting 27 seconds. At 8:34 p.m., Subject 1 had an outgoing communication to a telephone number associated with the rental car company that lasted 5 seconds. At 8:40 p.m., Subject 1 received an incoming call from the OUC. Subject 1 had 2 additional outgoing communications during this time period. At 7:36 p.m. and 7:57 p.m. These communications were to different numbers. It is unknown if these communications have any significance to the investigation at this time. The FBI Cellular Analyst Survey Team assisted in plotting Subject 1 calls around this time of the shooting. Based on the plot, Subject 1 was not in the area of the shooting. The CAS agent also plotted Subject 1 calls around this time the suspect vehicle was burned. Based on the plot, Subject 1 was not in the area of the vehicle fire. A check of law enforcement database reflect Target 2 was associated with 2 names, one being Erwin DeBose. The connection between Subject 1 and DeBose is unknown at this time. Police got a search warrant for Target 2 number. The mother of DeBose is listed as the subscriber with the number. Based on review of the call detail records, DeBose had numerous unanswered communications between 7:24 p.m. and 7:49 p.m. According to FBI CAS, the phone was either powered off or in the area where it did not receive any service. After the homicide, DeBose had 2 ongoing communications and 1 incoming communication before attempting to contact Subject 1. The FBI CAS assisted in plotting DeBose calls. at 6:59 p.m., DeBose had a call registered off a tower in the area of Georgia Avenue Northwest and Gallatin Street Northwest. This area is south where the homicide occurred. Based on video footage, it is known that the suspect vehicle traveled from the south prior to the homicide happening between 7:50 p.m. and 10:25 p.m. DeBose had 12 communications, including communications with Subject 1 that registered off the same tower in the area of Ridge Road Northeast and First Place Northeast, which is the tower on Ridge Road. Furthermore, on September 6, DeBose had communication at 12:37 a.m. that registered off a tower in the area of 4800 block of Nanny Hannibal Avenue Northeast. 2 communications at 12:40 a.m. that registered off the tower in the area of 500 block of J Street Northeast. These 2 locations are in close range to where the suspect vehicle was set ablaze in the 4500 block of E Street Northeast at 12:37 a.m. and 12:41 a.m. Between August 20 of 2021 and September 19, 2021, the period for records were obtained. These were the only communications of those 2 towers. Now, police went on and say that DeBose is a known associate with the CRT and Ridge Park crew. As previously mentioned, CRT and Ridge Park crew is aligned. Now, because the police had GPS tracker on the car, they managed to look at the suspects after the shooting incident. Here's DeBose and Queen with outfits that look consistent of the shooting suspects as they walked into an apartment building on the 400 block of Galloway Street Northeast. Now, both Queen and DeBose allegedly wore the same pants during the shooting. Detectives reviewed footage from the same property earlier in the day on September 4th. Shortly after 5 p.m., a black sedan consistent in appearance with the suspect vehicle parked in front of the apartment building. 3 subjects, including DeBose, exited the vehicle and entered the apartment building. DeBose was wearing pants consistent with the pants worn at the time of the shooting. And about 1 hour later, DeBose and the other 2 subjects returned to the suspect vehicle. At that time, DeBose was wearing a black hoodie, as mentioned, with the white logo on the left chest, like the shooting appearance, and DeBose appeared to be entering the driver's seat, and then the vehicle left. Now, to get in that apartment building that we just talked about, you have to use a key fob, and DeBose had one, but he wasn't a leaseholder for that unit, and his connection to the leaseholder is unknown. There was no key fob entries for this unit between September 5th and the 14th. The unit has since been vacated. The next day, on the 5th, at around 11:47 p.m., a vehicle consistent in appearance with vehicle 2 dropped off the subject in the 400 block of Ingham Street Northeast. The subject walked through the complex and entered the suspect vehicle, which was still parked on the 400 block of Galloway Street Northeast. The suspect vehicle then pulled off, and this occurred less than 1 hour before the suspect vehicle was burned in the 4500 block of E Street Northeast. In the shooter's indictment, detectives located images from social media that showed DeBose and Queen together. Now, remember we said that Slotty P, aka Queen, had posted about 3 weeks later? Well, authorities even got the post that he posted in his Instagram story when he wrote, "If you've been calling or texting that 290 number, I don't got it no more. DM me for my number." And that was enough for authorities to put him in connection as far as his number, because DeBose's telephone number was observed on September 4th, and he received the incoming call from a 290 number at 6:49 p.m. and had 2 outgoing communications at 6:56 and 6:59. These communications occurred during the time between the shooting on the 800 block, Oglethorpe Street Northeast, and the homicide at 7th Street Northwest and Longfellow Street Northwest, aka KDY. Queen reportedly shared the number 290 on Instagram, and the communication with DeBose between Oglethorpe shooting and the homicide. During the course of the investigation, detectives interviewed witness 2, a guy from their own neighborhood. Witness 2 said he wasn't present at the time of the shooting, but had information relevant to the investigation. Specifically, Witness 2 told detectives that it had video that captured the shooting. Witness 2 showed detectives a recording of the video depicting the shooting. Witness 2 stated it recognized one of the suspects as Person 1, who it identified by first and last name. Witness 2 said it could see the suspect's face in the video and also recognized the way in which that person moved. Witness 2 shown a single image picture of Person 1, who it identified. Witness 2 also claimed that the September 4th homicide was in retaliation for Descendant 2 shooting Person 1 in May of 2021. Detectives admitted at the time of the interview they didn't know the existence of that video provided by Witness 2. Detectives subsequently obtained the video from original source. Based on a review of the video, none of the suspects' faces are visible, and detectives also pointed out that Witness 2 has a pending case with another jurisdiction and provided the information during a proffer. Based on information and belief, Person 1 affiliates with the CRT and Uno Mafia Mafia/Market Boys crew and is a close associate to DeBose and Queen. The MPD also received an anonymous tip during the course of the investigation that Person 1 was one of the involved shooters. Based on video footage of the 4 suspects arriving in the 400 block of Galloway Street Northeast minutes after the shooting, Person 1 was not one of those individuals. Furthermore, police also had surveillance footage with someone consistent in the appearance of Person 1 arriving on the 400 block of Galloway Street Northeast around 45 minutes after the shooting. The detectives also found images of Person 4 holding an assault rifle on August 24th. In the same images, a handgun was also observed nearby. The firearm appeared to be an FN. That type of firearm is capable of shooting 5.728 ammunition, consistent with one of the types of cartridges casings recovered from the scene of the homicide in the area where the suspects fired. Person 4 has an address on the 400 block of Galloway Street Northeast. However, Person 4 is not on the lease, and the relationship between the leaseholder and Person 4 is unknown. Person 4 is an associate with RIGGS Parks crew. Also, a 7.62 casing was recovered from the scene, and it was linked to another shooting on August 22, 2021 at 55 Clinton Street Northwest. In the course of that investigation, the victim provided the first name of the suspect and a physical description. The name provided is the same name as Person 1 and matched the physical description provided. The victim said the suspect was armed with a Glock. Now I want to stop it here. So we all clear. It was allegedly 4 people on that drill, and 2 people were later accomplices. 6 people were arrested in total. And while they only identifying 2 of the shooters that was in that black sedan, well, I'll let you guys come up with your conclusion on that, because as of now, I can't find the paperwork. Now, detectives blocked Person 1 Instagram account name because he helped confirm that when Queen, aka Slidey P, had went on Instagram Live 2 days after the shooting smoking a cigarette and said he was in California with 2 people in the background holding assault rifles. Authorities noticed he had a filter on to change the color, but when Person 1 went live, he later confirmed with detectives that they was not in California like he mentioned, but was in DC, and indicated the drain pipe in the distance, as well as the dirt area near the drain pipe. And only 2 suspects in the indictment was identified, DeBose and Slidey P, aka Queen. About 6 weeks later, October 14, Slidey P was arrested. He was the second to get arrested by that point. And by December, authorities had 6 people arrested for the shooting on Labor Day weekend up KDY. Now all 6 will have no bond, and we'll later talk about them later in the video, because they wouldn't have trial until 2025, 4 years later. Now while some of the RIGGS Park crew was sitting down, the feds would come pick up Migo Lee and some members from KDY before any more retaliation come. It seemed they was under the radar because of their neighborhood beef that got caught on some serious charges, like firearms and narcotics. And in January of 2025, Khalil Ahmed Brown, aka Migo Lee, 23 years old, received a 14-year sentence after pleading guilty to drug conspiracy charges, weapon possession, and assault with a dangerous weapon. According to his indictment, he was a leader of the Kennedy Street crew, as we mentioned, known as KDY. Prosecutor described as one of the district's largest, oldest, and most violent street crews. Migo Lee, who gained notoriety through his rap music, taunting rival gang members, admitted to participating in a conspiracy to distribute marijuana, fentanyl, and oxycodone. He also pled guilty to a November 2022 shooting near Jackson Reed High School. The Department of Justice say that Migo Lee music videos glorify violence, referring to himself by the tagline used among KDY crew members, young and violent, and or characterizing himself as part of the SEAL Team 6 or ST6, evoking materialistic tactics to eliminate the opposition. They also say he's notorious for producing diss music, taunting rival crew members, including those who have been murdered. They mentioned a song called Broke Dead Ops. He marked the death of a rival crew member who had been shot and killed in 2019.
Don't spin by that store. When they drink it, the rolling niggas get on the floor. Niggas keep this going end up like 4. We the ST6, we ride with them.
Amigo Lee got his diploma incarcerated, and he spoke while incarcerated. That probably helped with his sentence. Federal prosecutors wanted 18 years, describing Migo Lee as the leading public face of KDY, a crew that operated drug markets along 11 blocks that stretched from Kennedy Street and surrounding areas, leading to a widespread of violence in the neighborhood. And that was it for that era of KDY. And when it came to RIGGS Park and Slidey P, alongside his co-defendants, well, on the first week of July of 2025, Slidey P and his co-defendants was found guilty. Slidey P and DeBose, they lost at trial and was found guilty on majority of their counts, looking up to 25 to life in prison. Johnson Lee, he was found guilty of tampering with evidence and being an accessory after the fact to the assault with intent to kill while armed. Resonate was found guilty of tampering with physical evidence and being an accessory after the fact to first-degree murder while armed. And just like that, another chapter in DC street history comes to a close. What started back as back and forth between two neighborhoods turned into war that took lives, ruined futures, and made headlines. It's a harsh reminder that street beef might get you clout for the moment, but it rarely leaves you with a happy ending. As we head out of here, every person that lost their life in this story, we do want to say once again, rest in peace and love and condolences to you guys' families. And for anyone who was affected by the story we're talking about, we do want to send love and prayers your way as well. There was a lot of talent in this video, a lot of potential, and a lot of what-ifs that's now buried behind prison walls. This case wasn't just about violence. It was about the allies, the loyalty, betrayal, and consequences. Fam, it's time for you guys to talk to me in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And till then, I'll catch you guys on the next one.